G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. It's an interesting tree we have today. It belongs to a customer of mine. He's asked me to have a look at what can we do with this elm. Now it looks, I don't know, it's a really interesting one. It looks like a corky bark elm that was really nice and old, and it's died off. Now some of the bark's fallen off, unfortunately, because it's died off, but it looks very corky, so I'm not sure if it's corky bark elm. It's very small foliage, so definitely Chinese elm, probably corky bark, not Seeju, but very nice. Very would have been nice having this trunk, but it's thrown a sucker from this point in the tree and grown a really nice healthy tree. I've tried to tilt it up so you can kind of see the base on it in particular. So these trees are quite interesting because you can go either way in terms of styling. There's lots of options to go for. It's really a preference thing. It's a tricky one. I don't say it's that easy to do. This is more of a imagination tree. Like, you really need to imagine what it could be, how it could look, what's happened to this tree. Do you want to incorporate the dead wood feature into the live? Do you want to have, this tree closer to the dead wood? Do you want to have this tree further away? Do you want it just part of the tree? What's the story we're trying to tell? It's difficult unless you have something in mind what you want us to do. It's quite difficult. So not an easy tree by any means in terms of having a convincing tree. I personally, obviously, my number one thing is getting this deadwood, making it a feature. So making this a feature by enhancing the carving, the deadwood, enhancing it somehow, carving into maybe a hollow, maybe something into it, really accentuating this as weathered and dying off, not big chops. There's big chops in it at the moment, so definitely have to do some carving work on this part. But then, is it having a tall tree? Is it having a small tree? Is it having a tree going this way, having a tree coming back towards the deadwood? I'm unsure. I really am. So until I actually do the work here, I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. So do I go further away? Do I tilt the tree more, tilt it up more and have it going this way more? There's so many options you can choose right now. But let me get some deadwood work done, because that's the priority. Having that looking good, get that done, make it a feature. And then how does this all fit in? Because this is quite tall still. So once we hollow it out, could be smaller, could be about that small, could be shorter. I'm not 100% sure where, but hollow it out, looks quite nice. Then how does this sit in the whole tree? So take it step by step. Deadwood first, and then this is whatever we decide is going to be pretty simple. There's not much. There's only a few branches on this tree, and we've got to cut back anyway a lot of it because it's too leggy. So that's the easy part. This is the hard bit, and then coming up with a design is even harder. I'm going to start doing some carving on this. So here's how I ended up with the carving done. I finished the rough carving. I'm getting a couple of new carving tools soon, but it won't be ready for this, where I can define these little hollows that I've created. But at the moment, it's really nice. I burnt off the fibers, so it's nice and smooth, just with a little blowtorch. So this is nice and interesting. Now, this is a nice, interesting piece. Now, my thinking with this is I need to focus on this area. If I move this tree away, it's just going to look silly. So I'm just going to try and move this back in around this, making that some sort of focal point, and trying to bring the tree around and smaller. Just wire some of these branches around, maybe make a smaller tree, but just maybe behind it. I'm just trying to think how I can go behind this to make this more of a feature. So just contemplating that idea. At the moment, if I went away from it, it looks silly by itself. So I really want to enhance it like that. I tried tilting it and moving it backwards and all this kind of stuff. Didn't really work. Even if I went that way, it doesn't really work that well. So I've tried all these different angles. I think eventually I'll just keep it like that. It's got some nice movement in this direction. This tree, bring it closer in. Just try to frame this piece, frame this deadwood piece with the foliage. Try and bring stuff around. I have to be careful because when wiring these elms, they could easily snap, and these branches are quite thick for now. We'll see how they last, but I'm going to reduce everything anyway. But I really want to try and get a bit behind so then I can frame this dead piece. So we'll see how I go. I'm just going to put some wire now on this trunk, and we'll see how we end up. All right, so I've wired the main branches, including the trunk, and I have been able to get it around where I wanted it to be, probably in here somewhere. Now it's a matter of trying to get some of these branches down, and I have probably overwired, obviously, like thickness-wise. I've overwired and also probably put a bit longer than I intend to, because I'm not sure where I'm going to end up finalising the size of the tree. I haven't wired all the sub-branching yet because I don't know if I need to, but we'll see how I go. I just need to make sure I get some sort of deciduous looking, still want the up and then down look, so that's good. So I'm roughly placing the branches where I kind of want them to be. I'm just trying to get some movement into this like apex area. Because really all I'm going to do is set kind of the structure of the tree. Now I'm roughly put it in kind of a shape, right? There's so much growth. So now the fun part of cutting stuff off. So let's have a look. What are we going to do? So kind of got things in the right place. Obviously, let's start with the lowest. I want it to be right. Let's come right back. It's still probably too long. Put that in there. Let's reduce this one. Goes in there a little bit. So you kind of start to see the development of this area. Now let's do have to put something in the back. Just get rid of some of this stuff. Should that be in there? Maybe. But now deciding where things are going to go. Alright, so getting there. So creating some sort of tree in here. Let me just work out, I think I'll just cut that off there. This one, probably there. This one's too long. Now let's get the top reduced. Not sure how that looks on the camera, but that was pretty cool. Best probably you can do right now at this stage of the tree's life. But pretty cool. It's got some nice movement back. It's a little bit triangular, but I think in time it will fill out nicely. Guys, can you kind of see that? Hopefully you can see what I'm looking at. Hopefully you can see the same thing I can see. It's an interesting tree now. Much more cooler to look at. This is the feature. The tree kind of frames that feature of the best bit. So let me just zoom in a bit. I know there's a couple of branches at the top that in like this is probably going to be wide, but you can see now the base is a little bit better. Like having this is just slightly behind this, making it a feature. I think that's all right. I think it's come up pretty nice. I think outside the box sometimes you don't have to go with what a tree looks like. And once you trim up all that huge amount of foliage, which was too much, you get something quite interesting. So there you go. That was a bit quick, but I'm going to just put some lime sulfur in this and hopefully accentuate the tree a lot more. The tree is going to be nice and looks nice and healthy already. And as elms do, they will explode in growth. So no problems with health for this tree in terms of recovery. Just feed it as normal, water it as normal, sunshine, love sun. And it'll just explode. And what you want to try and do is make a full canopy in this tree, so it just focuses on this area when you look into it. Nice pot for it, and it should be a ripper tree in the future. And here's how the tree looks after the deadwood's been lime sulfured. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon.